When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at JEWIL International, D Melville.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to The Long Bearded Guy with D Melville on Inspired Choices Network. Welcome to Red Friday. Welcome to Good Friday. It's a great Friday, and I don't just mean that it's a great day. It is a great day, but if you're in a religious sense, it's Good Friday. It's Easter weekend. Good Friday. And so, I want to talk about, today we're going to talk about who you be is what we're going to talk about. And I know that grammar is a little daft, but Red Friday, before I leave that, Red Friday is RED, remember everyone deployed. And so we want to make sure that we're remembering people that are willing to stand on the wall and protect us. And a heartbeat for that. And we need to make sure that we give them the honor and the respect that they deserve for that. So thank you so much to them. And we want to remember everybody deployed. It doesn't matter whether they're supposed to be there or not. That's who they're being, to bring us into the concept of what we're talking about today. They're being protection for the rest of us. That's who they're being. That's what they do, right? So, and we're going to talk about that, the difference between doing and being. We're not human doings. We're human beings. We'll get into that as we talk today. I get all excited about talking about this. I could do a series of these on who you be. Who are we being, right? And I ask it that way on purpose to try and interrupt the thought pattern, to try and get people to understand what I just asked. Because if I say, hey, who are you being? A lot of times it goes past them. And they still can't answer the question, but they don't stop and think about it for a second. When I say who you be, they stop and go, okay, what did he just ask me? Right? I got to figure out that grammar a little bit. So you're listening today. If you're a longtime listener or watcher, if you get in and talk or follow me at all, I'm on a mission to positively change the lives of every man I meet, and I want to do that by making sure they understand. I want to raise their emotional quotient, which sometimes can get conflated and we get that mixed up, and we're not sure what that means exactly, and we don't self-identify a lot of times as, oh, my EQ is low. We don't hear that. But to understand, we have control of that as human beings, and certainly as guys, we have control of being aware of what our emotional quotient is. What's our emotional intelligence? And it's not really an intelligence, so I caution that word, but we can talk about that another time. But our emotional quotient is what? And I want to raise it. And so I'm a champion mindset mentor for a pro basketball team. Obviously, I do a live, nationally syndicated live radio show, TV show, and podcast that you're watching or listening to right at the moment, which is great. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I know there's people from literally all over the world watching and listening today. So thank you so much for that. Happy Easter for those of you that celebrate that. But I'm a multi-award winning international best-selling author multiple times. We just had another one. I was honored to be part of another co-authored book out of a summit we had about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, on Inspired Choices Network, and I can't wait to have it in my hand, that book in my hand. But if you want those things, reach out. You can get that from me directly, or you can go to Amazon, wherever you normally shop. But I'm a keynote speaker. I talk about being a legacy and resiliency strategist. The awareness around, again, who you be. Who am I being? What's legacy? What's the awareness around that? Is that an end of life thing? No, it's not. Legacy is what we do every day, what we've poured into other people every day. We're just not aware of that. We're not aware of who we're being. Most of us don't spend any time being aware and really focusing on who we're being. We get stuck in this hamster wheel of do all over the place. Right? We get stuck in that hamster wheel. So it's being able to step in and understand, hey, I need to raise my emotional quotient, but I need to be aware of who I'm being. And that's what we want to talk about today. Do not conflate what you do. If it's a polite thing, right? It's a I'm being polite when I say, hey, you meet new people and you go, hey, how are you? Lots of times most people don't want to know. They'll ask that because it's polite. Oh, how are you? Most people don't want to know. Matter of fact, if you answer them or actually tell them how you are, they go, oh man, I'm sorry I asked that, because that they were just being polite. Sometimes when we're trying to meet new people, the next question out of our mouth after how are you is what? What do you do? It's another polite question. Why? Because it's easier to answer than who am I being? We conflate what I do with who I'm being. We forget who we're being. We focus on what we do. And it should be the other way around. We should focus on who we're being than what we're doing. And you've heard me say that before. If you listen with any regularity, you've heard me say before, what we do should be an extension of who we're being. But that means I got to know who I'm being. So why? It's easier. Why do we conflate them? It's easier. It's easier to say, hey, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a pro athlete, I'm an entrepreneur. That's easier because most people don't know who they are. It's also less vulnerable to say and to share what I do, right? I'm not bearing my soul. I'm not being exposed or feeling exposed and vulnerable, right? So am I my name? Who you be? Am I'm Gordon? Is that am I my name? No, I don't think I am. Now, that doesn't mean that's not part of my identity. For sure it is. It's Scottish, right? Where did Gordon come from? I wrote some stuff down here. It came from the 12th century. It's Scottish. If you look at it in terms of a place, like a noun, spacious fort is what Gordon it means. But there's lots of different things here, or great hill, or keeper of the birds. Depending on where you look, there's lots of different definitions of Gordon. It's the 968th most popular boy name, masculine name, first name, Gordon. It's Berwickshire in Normandy. But that's what's in the name. Am I my name? No, I am to some degree. Am I a keeper of birds? No. Am I a spacious fort? No. But we're known by our name. People ask me all the time, well, do you want Gord or Gordon? Some people call me Gordy, and I'm like, no, 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 no. The only Gordy I know that I really love is Gordie Howe, a hockey player, and that makes me, anyway, it dates me for sure. But there's a lot of very famous Gordons, very famous Gordons. And I wrote a couple down here. One being very, very, very popular. You all know who that is. But Gordon Campbell, Gord Downie was a musician, died a few years ago. Gordon Ramsay is a chef. Gordon Lightfoot, singer. Gordie Howe is the hockey player. Gordon Beckham, Gordon Sinclair, Gordon Pinsett, Gordon Corman's an author. But the most popular one that I found, Gordon Matthew Thomas Sumner. Do you know who that is? Gordon Matthew Thomas Sumner. Can you tell me who that is without looking it up? You might know him better as the singer Sting. Sting's name is Gordon Matthew Thomas Sumner. Anyway, that's what my name is about, right? But are we our name? Is that who I'm being? Am I being my name? No, I'm not. I'm not. So understanding who I'm being, that it's I can't. And one of my mentors, and I love Dr. Reed, and I've said this before on a show, but it bears repeating. He said, you can't become who you already are. That resonates with me. You can't become who you already are. So what is it around that? What we're doing is becoming aware of who we're being. The question is, are you aware of who you're being? Can you tell me who you're being? What does that even mean? What does that mean? How do I find out who I'm being? What are the metrics that would tell me, hey, this is who I'm being? I know I can figure out what I'm doing, right? The metrics of that. I speak, I write, I mentor, I coach. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a friend, I'm an uncle. Like, okay, again, that's what I do. That's not who I'm being. Can we figure out who we're being? We can't become who we already are, but we can become aware of who we are and who we're being. Where do we get our identity from? Who's paying attention to that? Who's finding that out for us? We're responsible for that. We are responsible for figuring out who we are and then living in that space. Are you aware of that? How do you become aware of that? We're going to talk about that in some of the other segments today, but understanding, do you even want to know? Some people don't want to know. Why? It's hard. It's hard. That's personal accountability, right? That's, who am I being when there's nobody around? When nobody will find out, who am I being? How do I act? What do I let out of myself when there's nobody around? I'm completely by myself in the house or completely alone wherever I happen to be. Nobody will ever find out. Who am I being? What am I thinking about? What am I doing? Where am I letting my mind go? What types of things am I doing that are an extension of who I'm being that maybe no one's ever going to find out about? It's an interesting question. We're going to keep talking about who you be. Who you be. Thank you for finding me. I have to take a quick break, but thank you for finding me on Google TV, Apple TV. Go on, Inspired Choices Network is a free download anywhere that you would go. And I'm looking for engagement. We have an ignorant amount of reach. Hundreds of millions of people in reach. More than 450 platforms. We're all over the place. My friends and my family get freaked out when they find me on all these other platforms that they didn't realize I might be on, which is wonderful, wonderful. But plug in, I want engagement. I want to be able to reach out. If you agree with me, tell me. If you disagree with me, tell me. I've got thick skin. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. I want that engagement. So reach out, please. But download it. There's a bunch of really, really good hosts on this network. Inspired Choices Network. Go to anywhere you would normally download stuff, Play Store, Google Store, Apple Store, or wherever it is, and download Inspired Choices Network. You'll find us all there. You'll find my happy beard. You can watch or listen to all the episodes that are there. If you're not sure, or you want to hear some more about what we're sharing, what I'm sharing, you want to dig deeper into some of these things, some of these topics, I talk a lot about who we're being. I talk about it all the time. Where do we get our worth and value? All these different things. Go and find us on there. Go and listen. And then engage me. Tell me what you think. I want to do a quick shout out for Jose Escobar, is the founder and the CEO of the Entrepreneurs Bookshelf. Check out the Connected Leaders Academy membership, is a program he has to take your business to the next level. This is the perfect tribe to learn, grow, and connect like never before. The Connected Leaders Academy tribe brings together some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. Set up a virtual coffee with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him at theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. That's theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. Jose Escobar. That's an amazing, Connected Leaders Academy is an amazing, amazing group. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to be right back. Do not forget to pause and breathe. As we go to a break, Pause, close your eyes, breathe for a minute, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Pause and breathe to help ground yourself, to help percolate. I have my herbal tea and my special mug. If you've got, by the way, you might want to grab a pen and a pad if you haven't. I was remiss in letting you know that at the beginning. You're going to want to write some stuff down. I got some stuff in the next segments that you want to write down. So make sure you have a pen and paper. Don't forget to pause and breathe. You don't go anywhere. You're with the long bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at JEWIL International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to the longbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate you being here today. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. And today we're talking about who you be. Who you be. And I know that's baffed, grammar's baffed. I know it is. But what we're talking about is focusing on who we're being. Because you hear me talk a lot about intentional growth, not just organically having stuff happen, because that's going to happen anyway, but intentionally making myself and becoming, finding out who I'm becoming, who I am, right? That sounds a little weird. Trying to figure out and become aware of who I'm being. My awareness around who I'm being. Intentional personal growth will take away, it's like an onion, peeling the layers and finding out, hey, is this who I want to be? If that's not who I want to be, then am I wanting to change that? Can I direct that a little bit? For sure I can. Absolutely I can. But intentional personal growth focuses on who I'm being. Another one of my mentors and friends, John Maxwell, talks about personal growth is a process. Do you embrace that process? Because it doesn't happen overnight. It's not, you don't wake up one morning, boom. You understand 100% who you are, right? Where do we get that from? Where do we figure out our identity? How do we figure that out? Personally, I figured that out with Papa. And I call God Papa because of my relationship with him, but I allow him to tell me this is who I am. He tells me this is who Gordon is. I find my identity in him. But not everybody wants to do it that way. That's okay. You be you, right? But intentional personal growth requires understanding and awareness around who we're being. So John Maxwell, personal growth is a process, embrace it. Intentional growth separates those who succeed and everybody else. That's just, we can like it, we don't have to like it, we can disagree. It doesn't change what is. People that do personal development typically are more successful than people that don't. They're more fulfilled. They have a heightened awareness about their life. They feel deeper on both ends, right? They feel sadness. But they're connected to that in a way that most people are not. They feel happiness and joy really deep in ways that's not available to most people because they're not plugged into that. So it separates those who succeed and others. Intentional growth takes time, and only time can teach us some things. Time is, in some things, the only thing that will teach us certain things. We can only learn certain things over time. The value of stuff sometimes, right? Like if it comes instantly, do we value that? Oh, it's easy to get, no big deal. If it takes years, why do we pay doctors as much as we do? Why do we hold them in esteem? Well, they've been in school for 10, 12 years. It took forever to get that. The discipline to do that. It takes time to learn. Intentional, right? Intentional growth inside fuels growth outside. If you've heard people like Jim Rohn say, if we need to work on ourselves as much or more than we work on anything else, right? Business people, I got to work on my business. I got to work in my business, on my business, but I need to work on me as much or more than I work on my business or in my business. Why? Because that's what fuels that awareness and that intention and that focus on learning and growing on the inside shows itself on the outside, right? When we talk about who are you when no one's around, that's being fueled by who you are inside. That's being fueled by who you be. And you may not like that. Some people, you may look in the mirror and go, that's not who I don't like who I'm being. No, lots of people don't like what they're doing either. But what they're doing is an extension of who they're being. That's why they don't like it. Intentional growth inside fuels growth on the outside. Intentional growth is our responsibility. It's nobody else's responsibility. It's not up to somebody else. It's not somebody else's job to grow us or to help us know who we're being or to define who we're being. We allow other people to define who we are. We live up to their expectations. That's killer. And I mean that in a bad way. It's a recipe for disaster because it's brutal. Other people's opinion, we're living to other people's opinion, or they think we should be doing something different. They think who we are is somebody other than who we are. We're allowing them to put we're putting a mask on ourselves because we're not being who they think we should be. Parents, teachers, church people, our peers, our colleagues at work. Why? Why? It doesn't matter. Their opinion doesn't matter. Their expectations don't matter. That's putting pressure on yourself that you don't need. Don't do that. Don't do it. Where do you find you need to grow? Do you know who you be? If I asked you, hey, can you write this down? Send it to me in an email. Write down who you're being. Do you know who you are? Do you know how to change it? Do you know how to figure it out? Do you know how to have awareness around that? And that's not a shot. That's not a shot. That's I love you enough not to leave you where I find you. And you've heard me say all the time, I'm not, if you're happy where you are, great. But I suspect you wouldn't still be listening to me if you were. What you want is intentional growth. You want to get better. You want to be a better human being. The only way that happens is with intention. Forced aware on ourselves, not by somebody else. Forced awareness, forcing ourselves to focus on that awareness. Who am I? What are those metrics? We're going to talk about it in the next segment. But what are the metrics around that? How do I measure that? How do I figure that out? You ever been challenged for that before? People challenge us all the time on what we do, right? They don't, only very rarely. And it takes special people. You could probably name the types of people that question and challenge who you're being. They care about you enough not to leave you where they found you. And if you're happy where you are, great. But if you want more, if you want to grow, it takes focus and intention. It takes asking the hard questions, right? Most people don't want to know I'm deficient somehow. They don't want to hear that. We all know we got strengths and weaknesses. We all know, right? But we don't want to look at some of those things. We want to look at our strengths. We want to talk about our strengths. We want to live in our, that makes us feel empowered and confident and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is you'll have even more confidence when you know who you're being. When you're focused on your awareness around who you're being. I'm going to challenge you today. We're going to have a call to action later. But I want you to understand, I'm going to challenge you. Find out. Can you write it down succinctly? This is who I am being. We Google everything else. Can we Google that? Yep, we can. Who am I being? How do I find out? I'm going to give you some ideas today too. But, and we're, I got to take another break, but we're going to talk about who I'm being is, who I be is setting up what I do. What I'm doing should be an extension of who I'm being. If I don't know who I'm being, then what the hell am I doing? Literally, what am I doing? Because if it's not in alignment, if one isn't an extension of the other, if what I do is not an extension of who I'm being, then there's no alignment, which means there's no flow. We wonder why we struggle and we fight, and we're always at 6s and 9s trying to figure out, okay, where am I at? I'm exhausted and I'm frustrated and things are, why? Because I'm literally a salmon swimming upstream. Because I don't know who I am. I don't know who I be. We need to find out. Do you want to find out? If you want to find out, we're going to talk about it in the next segment. But ways to figure it out. But I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you. I need to do another quick shout out for Jose just before we take another quick break here. Jose Escobar, founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf to learn more about his morning and evening mastery routine program that's changing people's lives. This program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. Set up your free strategy session today with Jose Escobar, and you can reach him at theentrepreneur'sbookshelf.com. If you're not doing something routine, day in, day out, if that's who you be, right? It's focusing on who you're being. You're building that routine into your day. Bookends, morning and evening, morning and evening, morning and evening. Why? Because that consistency builds who you are. That consistency will show you and show people around you who you're being. It's important. Reach out to Jose. I got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. In the next segment, we're going to talk about who we should be. How do we look at that? How do we define it? How do we become aware of who we're being? Do you want to? You're going to stick around? I hope so. I hope you will. Don't forget to pause and breathe as we take a quick break, and we'll be right back. I've got some stuff I want to give you. So don't go anywhere. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. See you in a minute.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at JEWIL International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
The Connected Leaders Academy is the #1 fastest growing networking community for entrepreneurs. CLA assembles high-level leaders, titans of industry, and business owners under one roof. If you're an entrepreneur looking to grow personally, professionally, scale your influence, develop skills, and expand your network exponentially, the CLA is where you need to be. Want on to more podcasts and shows, speak on more stages, sell more books, products, and services, get more leads, referrals, acquire new clients, develop lifelong friendships, and more. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. Contact Jose Escobar on Facebook or check out www.claglobalsummit.com for more information.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. You're with Gordon D. Melville. That's me, the long-bearded guy on Inspired Choices Network. Today we're talking about who you be. It's Good Friday. Our identity. Who are we being? Especially at this time of year, we start to look at the meaning around this weekend, Easter weekend. We start to look at what does that mean. Some people it doesn't mean anything. Some it's just they're finding chocolates and rabbits and bunnies and whatnot. But for some of us, it's an important thing around our identity, around who we are. It sets up who we're being, and for me, it anchors me. This weekend anchors my identity. Where do we allow that to come from? Our identity. We talk about sometimes it's coming from our parents, it's coming from teachers, it's coming from our peers, it's coming from a significant other. We allow people to tell us who we are, and we shouldn't do that, right? We shouldn't do that. Sometimes I've got 3 teenage sons, and I've shared that before, but we're real careful about what we say to them in terms of who they are. Well, you're not very, you don't do math very well. You're not really a math guy. We're careful about that because that sets something in their brain that makes an impact that we don't want. I know people that go, well, I'm not mechanically inclined. I do it myself. I'm not a techie at all. I'm the most not technical person you ever want to meet. But it's a weird thing because when I get online or I try and do stuff, I go, well, I'm not the tech guy. I don't understand how my computer works. Guess what happens when I get online or try and do stuff on my computer? Guess what happens? That's right. It doesn't work. And I go, see, I'm not the tech guy. And they're like, well, no, you told yourself. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You told yourself you're not good at that. So nothing works. Why? Because that's what you're pumping out. The vibration you're pushing out is, no, I'm not good at this. The lie we tell ourselves is, I'm not good at this. And are there people that have a propensity towards certain? Yes, for sure. Are there people that can do certain things better? Yes, for sure. That understand using a left brain, right brain, that kind of thing? Absolutely, for sure, for sure. But on the whole, what we're looking at is, can I look at who I'm being and be proud of who I'm being? Am I dictating that from myself? Am I coming up with that from a source that I respect and trust? If we allow somebody else to dictate that, do you trust and respect them? That's why I anchor it in Papa. I love him. I trust him. I know he's got my best interest at heart. And I know it's not ever going to change. He's going to love me the same way. He doesn't have an expectation for me. And I know that's going to open a can of worms and people are going, Gord, wait. I'm not talking religious. I'm not talking about the rules, and that's not what I mean. We're talking about understanding who we truly are. Because we're not defined by what we do. We shouldn't be. Some people allow themselves to be. We shouldn't be. So, how do I find out? Or what are the metrics? What kind of things can I look at to figure out who I'm being? What's a who am I being thing? What's a this is what I'm doing thing? And I apologize, it just occurred to me, I'm sitting close enough to the camera, you can probably only see little bits of my hands, which probably looks weird, but I talk with my hands. I probably should sit back a little bit or find another way to get so you can see my hand. Anyway, for me, the number one way to find out who I am, who you be, who I be, is to ask Papa. I ask, hey, who am I? Who am I supposed to be? And allow him to dictate that. Allow him to show me who I'm being, who I'm supposed to be. Because he knows better than I do. But there's some other things I can do. How about defining your core values and beliefs? If you can define your core values and beliefs, you can figure out who you're being. What's a step too far? In a world right now that really doesn't have any, but there's no line for lots of people. And it's being challenged constantly. Every day those lines are being, morality and our beliefs, our core values and beliefs are being pushed. They're being challenged and threatened in some respects. Do you know who you be based on your core values and beliefs? Define them. Because if you don't, you'll be wishy-washy all over the place. With the wind will blow and you'll go in whatever direction there is because you don't understand. You're not anchored. You don't understand who you are. Changing your environment will change you. That's a choice. Some people say, well, if I change my environment, it'll change who I am. And sometimes that's true. Do you know people, are you that kind of a person that I'm one person at home, I act a certain way and I'm one kind of a character at home, and then I'm a completely different character when I get out on stage or when I write books or when I'm with my buddies, or maybe I'm different as a human being. Who I be changes based on where I am. If I'm in a sad place, my physiology and my environment can absolutely impact. You ever been in a messy room or a dirty space? And it makes it hard to feel joy and happy and uplifting. Why? Because you're in a dirty environment or a cluttered environment. Cluttered environment means cluttered mind. Again, I'm not sugarcoating. I'm telling you, sharing with you. I mean, you do with it what you want, right? I'm not telling you what to think. I'm sharing some ideas. You do with it whatever you like. Or you're all full of poop. Great. Okay, I'm full of poop. I'm okay with that. Not being full of poop, I'm okay with you think I'm full of poop. There's a difference, right? Anyway, overcome limited thinking patterns. Do you have limited beliefs like me with the tech. That's a limiting belief. Why? It's stopping me from being maybe who I'm supposed to be. Maybe I need to embrace that. Brings us all the way back to what John Maxwell talked about, embracing the personal growth process. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And as human beings, we look at it and go, "Whoa, man, it takes too long." Right? We go, "Oh, I want to release some weight. What do I have to do to release weight?" Well, you got to drink some water, and you got to, eat less Big Macs, and you gotta exercise every day or several times a week, and all these different things. And we go, okay, and we get all pumped up, and all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. We go to the gym twice on that first day, and we eat only salads, and we drink lots of water, and we do all the things we're supposed to do. And on day 2, we look in the mirror and go, I look the same as I did yesterday. That's not fair. I did what I was supposed to do yesterday. Why don't I not look different today? Well, you know what? I'm gonna release this weight. I'm gonna do it again today. And I go to the gym and I work out. And I eat salad. And I do all this stuff. And at the end of the day, day 3, I wake up. I look in the mirror and go, I look the same as I did the last 2. Like nothing's changing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, or what I think I'm supposed to do, but nothing's changing because I can't see it. Day to day to day to day to day. Day after day after day after week after week after month after month. 6 months out, will you look different? Absolutely will. Why? Because you needed time. Oh, that's right. It's a process. Embrace it. Is it hard? Yes. But the process of discipline and the pain of that discipline is way, way lighter than the pain of regret. We look back, people on their deathbed do not usually look back and go, wow, you know what? I should have, I wish I'd have done that better. Most people on their deathbed talk about things they wish they had done. I wish I had spent more time with my kids. I wish I'd traveled more. They regret the things they didn't do, not the things they did do. Understanding who we be, understanding who you are, will allow you to do the things as an extension. It'll allow you to do the things that you need and want to do, to become aware and be aware of who you really truly are. I hope that comes across, and I hope that that makes sense to you. I really do. One of the things that we can do, and we have to take another quick break, one of the things we can do to understand who we're being is to work with a mentor, a coach, a therapist, somebody that we can talk to, that can listen, that will care about us, and will point us in direction. I am that kind of a human being. I am a mentor and a coach, not a therapist. But do I listen? Absolutely. And as much as some people in my life may tell you, hey, he likes to talk, not always listen. I've got a lot of people that will sit and listen, and that I'm listening to. They come and share because they know I care. I give a shit about them as human beings. I care about them. I care enough to listen. I care enough to hear them out, not just the words they're using, but what their heart is about. I've got some Box Inside Out programs. I've got one-on-one mentoring that's available. I've got books. There's lots of things. You want me to come and talk to your people? Let me know. You can reach me at thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. If you've got questions about anything we talk about from any episode, reach out, engage. Have the courage to engage. I won't bite, I promise. I promise. I will hear you out. I will hear you out. There are tools available to you. There are pieces available to you. Sometimes at cost. You know what? You don't get to certain places in your life. Doctors spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to where they want to go, right? It costs time, energy, money. It costs attention to understand the process and be aware of the process of who we're being. If you want help with that, thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. If you want me to come and talk to your people, you want to be part of one of these cohorts that's coming for Bhakti Inside Out, we'll teach you. We go deep into the steps. You'll know, well, by the time we finish that workshop, you'll know exactly who you be. You'll have the tools to discover who you're being and to be able to change that and morph that into whatever it is you want to be. Reach out. We need to take a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We're going to do a quick wrap, and then we've got a quick call to action that I think is impactful if we do it. Again, we have to execute. We've got to actually do something with the information. Do something with it. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're almost done. But you're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. Don't forget to pause and breathe. I'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at JEWIL International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. We're talking today about who we be. Who you be. Who are you being? Do you know who you're being? Do you know not what you do, don't conflate them. Not what you do, who are you being? And as we wrap here, being, what we're doing should be an extension of who we're being. That way there's alignment and now we have flow. It doesn't mean life's easier necessarily. It just means that it becomes, the stuff starts to happen on its own. You start to be aware of things going on around you that you weren't aware of before. Why? Was it not there? No, it was always there. You just weren't aware of it being there. Same as you go to buy a car, you hunt that car, you shop that car all over the place for months and months and months. You go and buy a car, you buy one of those, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I see these all over the place now. Why? Well, it's now in your awareness. You're not a trendsetter. Sorry to burst the bubble. You're not a trendsetter. They were always there, but now they're in your consciousness because you have them. The tools we need to be able to be successful and to be who we're supposed to be, to uncover and become aware, are all around us. They're already there. Are you aware of that? Do you have the courage to focus on who you're being? It's hard. It's hard. Very hard. Some things that can help you. When we talk about call to action for this week, self-care. Are you doing self-care? Are you meditating? Are you looking inside yourself? Introspection. Are you doing any of that? Are you stopping and looking in the mirror and going, you know what, who am I really being? Not what I'm doing. Who am I being? Who am I really being? Do I have the courage to do that? Do I have the courage to be honest with myself? That's the ultimate sales job, to convince yourself that that's not who I am. Pay attention to who you're being. I challenge you. Write it down. Who are you being? Can you identify that succinctly? This is who I'm being. This is who I am at my core. And don't tell me, well, no, at my core, I'm a football. I'm an NFL. No, that's what you do. That's not who you are. Well, I was born to be. That's great. That's not who you are. Figure out who you are. Focus. Become aware of who you're being. Like Dr. Reed says, you can't become who you already are, but do you know who you are? Balance your identity with an open mind. Have an open mind about, don't just sort of allow whatever, all these other things to define who you are. You figure it out. Successful people know exactly who they are. They'll be able to answer that just like that. They know exactly who they are. Spend some time this week doing that. And if you want to reach out to me or share that with me, thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Send it to me. Gord, this is why I'm finding it. This is who I'm becoming aware of who I am. I'd love to hear. Love to hear. Next week, I'm shocked. We were tired. Shocked. It's already Easter. By the next time we talk, we'll be past. We'll be past Easter already. A quarter of the year almost is gone. Friday, April 5th. Same time, same place, same happy beard. And we're going to talk about, on the next episode, we're going to answer the question, is yours big enough? Before your brain goes in 1,000 directions, we kind of laugh about it, kind of a personal question. I'm going to explain what I mean. Is yours big enough? I'm not going to tell you what that's about. You have to come back and tune in to find out. But it's not what you think. I'll guarantee you that. I'll guarantee you that. This week, focus on who you're being. And if you need help, reach out. And that's what I'm here for. There's lots of resources and tools to find out. Figure it out. Find out. I'm telling you, you can believe me, you don't have to. Your life will get easier if you understand and step into and embrace the process of awareness to understand who you are. At your core, who are you? Who are you being? And I've said that a lot in this hour. But it's important. It's critical to understand all the things you hear me talk about all the time, our worth and our value. That's coming out of that. It's dictating who we are, who we think we are. I'm not enough. I live out of lack instead of abundance. We don't want to live that way. Understand and find out who you are. I'm challenging you. Find out who you are. Be courageous this week. Be unapologetically you once you find out who that is. Make it a great week. You have the power to do that. Live out you. And again, find out who that is, but abundantly and with intention. Don't just let it happen. I love you. Massive hugs. We'll see you next week. Remember, question, who are you being?
Thank you for tuning into the Long Bearded Guy Show. You are appreciated and loved. Gordon D. Melville returns Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, make it another great week, leading with love, powerfully designing, crafting, and living out your positively impactful legacy life you were created for. Big hugs.